All right, welcome back. It's our 5th episode.
Number 5.
Number 5 of BeerFormers.
BeerFormers!
Yeah. And for this one, we're going to do something a little different.
What do you mean by that, Dave?
Well, we've talked a lot about some classic toys so far, like Optimus Prime, Megatron. We did a couple that maybe not everybody knew about, like Overlord. This is our first episode.
That's right.
And then Power Master Prime with all the extra add-ons. This one, we're going to go back to basics. All right, because I've got 3 Transformers here today that Noel's going to try to transform that probably most of you have never even heard of. Hasbro, the people who are behind Transformers in the United States.
This sounds like this is a setup.
No. Hasbro, who makes Transformers in the United States, in partnership with Takara, and Takara Tomy, as it's called now in Japan, have tried on 4 separate occasions to dip into the really young market.
Oh, okay. You mean like there's those Legos that are like this big that are called Duplos?
Duplos, yes. Okay.
Got it. Okay, that kind of thing.
So the most recent being what was known as Rescue Bots. All right, Rescue Bots were toys that were geared toward like the under 5 crowd for the most part. All right. So there are 3 that they made back in 1986 that came out under the Play School. Hasbro owns Play School.
Really?
Banner. And this is one of those things where like I have these down as a certain name. So this is obviously another example.
When did you even get those?
Headcanon. But these are the 3 Play School. My first Transformers is what they were called.
Were there commercials for these?
I don't know. That's a great question. I should look that up sometime.
How'd you learn about them?
Back in the day, I got these back in the 90s. When I was still my first adult job. And eBay was
so
amazing.
Before we met.
No, we were already together when I got these.
Oh, but you kept them hidden from me.
No, they've been out like this in plain sight for decades now at this point. But
did you get them on eBay?
Yeah, I got these on eBay.
Okay, I'll stop talking so you can tell a story.
So,
I'm flabbergasted.
They made 3 of these. They were put under the Play School banner, which is, if you don't know that's like Hasbro's toddler line of toys. My first Transformers, they even have their own cute little version of the Autobot symbol here. I can't show you now, but I'll put it on the screen because it's kind of folded up in these guys, and Noel has to figure out how to transform it, so that's kind of fun. In America, these did not have names.
They just said,
they
Autobot, dump truck?
They weren't even Autobots. They were just, they were just my first Transformers, dump truck, race car, and jet. That was it. They didn't have names. In Japan, when they put them out a couple years later, they gave them all a name with a little honorific at the end of Kun. So in Japanese,
how do you spell that?
Kun.
Okay.
So in Japanese, if you're talking to a small child or someone you think is adorable and cute, you give them the little tag Kun at the end of the name. So you'd be Noel Kun if you're a little kid. I'd be Dave Kun if I was a little kid. So this one was called Dump Kun. Yeah, because he's a dump truck. This one was called. I think he was called Race Car Coon or Race Coon. And this one.
Wait a second, Race Coon? That is not good.
Yeah. Well, we won't say why. And this one was Jet Coon. All right. It could be Kun, I guess. I don't know. I'm not Japanese. Now, when I first started researching these back in the day to get these, I swear, and I could not find this when we get ready to do this episode, I swear I found names for these guys. And if you kind of look behind me on the shelf, each one of these things is labeled. So on my shelves labels, I have names for these down that are not Dump Coon and things like that.
So you don't think you dreamed the names?
I don't think I dreamed the names.
Okay.
This is not purely headcanon, but apparently because of my lack of being able to find it on the internet, maybe it was and I forgot it, and whatever like that. But I read somewhere that this one was named was Zoom. Okay. This one's name was Vroom, the race car, and this one's name was Thoom, like a thundering sound. Thoom. Thoom, Vroom, and Zoom.
Why not Boom?
I don't know.
Like a boom sound when stuff comes out.
In my apparent headcanon, if you guys can find out where I may have got these names, please let me know in the comments. Because I'm pretty sure, I remember reading these somewhere. So maybe it was someone else's headcanon and I took it as gospel. Sure. But that was the names I stuck with them, and that's what names are on my shelf. So we'll talk about these real quick. So Thoom, he's the tallest when he's transformed. He is clearly a dump truck. Yeah. He's got a little scoop on the front for picking stuff up. These were all made for preschoolers to be able to transform by themselves. So as Noel gets ready to do these here, the pressure is actually on. Okay,
it is really.
Yeah. This one doesn't have any apparent cockpit or pilot in it, but we'll let her try that here in a second. This one here, the race car, I should say. He's got a little person here. Looks like a little driver in that. He makes a little noise when he rolls. This one doesn't, except for the tires do it. And the jet also, Zoom, makes a little noise too. Now, Zoom is my one in the worst condition. He's a little what they call sun bleached, which is a misnomer because actually he's turned yellow from being in the sun.
But it's not.
And he's even a little bit broke. And this is not gold plastic, no. Gold plastic. Is this the part you thought was gold plastic before we were filming?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. No, this is just white that's turned this color because of it being exposed to the sun. Yeah. It kind of gets a yellowish coloring. There's a way to get rid of this that involves like putting some materials on it and scrubbing it off and gets it off. It's called ultra bright and things like that. But
what if you got it on the colored parts?
I don't know if it would do that too or not.
Would that like bleach those out?
That's a great question. I don't know. Because some of the colored parts actually this color too. You won't be able to see this in the camera at all, but there's the lighter blue right there.
It's a little
compared
faded.
to like the darker blue from being in the sun. Yeah. This probably sat in a storefront for a while before I bought it or something.
Did you get all of these at the same time?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
So you got them
them
like a package.
Yeah.
Okay, they're in pretty dang good shape. The labels are a little worn.
Zoom and Zoom, or Vroom, I should say, are almost pristine.
Yeah.
Really great shape. Zoom here, as I call him, his little cutesy Autobot symbol, first Transformer symbol, I should say, is all torn off.
I'm surprised you haven't replaced that.
I probably could if I really wanted to. I just haven't yet. So we'll go ahead and get straight to Noelle trying to transform these here.
Pete's sake.
And I'll tell you a little more about the nature of preschool Transformers.
Okay, these are the kind of toys that my sister and I probably would have buried in our sandbox and forgot about.
That would have hastened the yellowing of this one here now too.
I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm officially.
So when they put these out, while Noelle's trying here, so we're gonna start the clock now here. So Noelle's gonna try to transform Zoom into a robot.
Oh, here we go.
These are all very cutesy. They put these three out. They found them to be a little hard, I guess, for preschoolers to transform. So in Noelle's defense, if she can't do it, these were, I guess, a flop in the sense that a lot of preschoolers couldn't do it. So
am I smarter than a preschool?
So they abandoned the preschool transformer concept for several years. It wasn't until like about 2001. These came out in '86, I believe. 2001, under the Tonka label.
This spins.
Under the Tonka label. That they put out what they call the 1, 2, 3 Transformers. And yes, you got the first one.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
this is
I'm super excited.
Zoom in his robot form. So notice a little head popped up in the cockpit when he turns around. He's got little fists. His little feet pop out. And he's able to stand like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's about all he can do. They transform and they got a little articulation, but not about that. So they had a line called the 1, 2, 3 Transformers that consists of 5 figures. One pretty good size one and 4 that were smaller. Those did not sell as well either, for whatever. They're having a little hard time getting them out. And so they waited a few more years again until about 2011, I think it was, 2011 or so, before they came out with the Rescue Bots Transformers. And those were actually a pretty huge success for as far as Transformers go.
I think I got this one done.
Almost.
Okay, because that's weird.
Yeah.
That's problematic.
Yeah. The pilot cockpit there is not quite right.
Okay.
So you should keep working on here. Okay. So Rescue Bots, we'll do Rescue Bots at some point too. But Rescue Bots were pretty successful. They lasted many years. I think it only officially ended as a line a couple years ago.
Wait a second. Oh, okay. That's much better.
All right. So this is Vroom Transform. Yeah, you got it. So the thing she had a hard time with here was the cockpit of the little driver in it was sticking out in kind of an unfortunate spot. And he actually had legs that came down. And I believe technically the legs should spin around this way.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't quite there.
But that's but it really doesn't matter. It looks pretty cool either way.
Yeah, has a cool sound too.
Yeah.
Or now my headcanon. This guy's name is Boom Boom.
Boom Boom.
I like it better than Thoom.
Like Harry Boom Boom Washington or something like that.
I don't know who that is.
Wasn't that a character from Welcome Back, Kotter?
Maybe.
Okay. I don't know if his name was Harry or not, but I'm pretty sure Boom Boom Washington was.
All right, so now, whoa! This one's got some big old legs. Mm-hmm. Check that. Oh, he's tall. Okay.
So far, the fact that these are made for little kids have not, daunted you very much. That's really good. It's good for you. I'm really excited.
You're making me feel like the smartest woman alive. Oh, this one was a piece of cake. I should have started with this one. Check it out.
Except for look at the way the camera's seeing now.
Shoot. He's looking at me.
He's got his arms straight back like so. Like he's like he's running like a ninja if you're in a Naruto or something.
Oh my god. Okay. So the feet really go like that?
Yeah.
All right. So he's got weird feet that go backwards. No, that can't be right.
No, that is correct. You are correct.
Okay. Well, there he is.
They provide a little bit of back support so he doesn't tip over backwards a lot.
Coon.
So Thoom in my headcanon, apparently. Yeah. But yeah. So I'll put this up the screen a little closer here, but I'll actually put an graphic up there, but there's a little cutesy little almost like Autobot symbol there, and it says First Transformers on it. So
those are pretty cool.
So,
that was actually, there was a lot to do for a little kid. I mean, there were at least 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah.
That's kind of complex.
And they make noise. There's lots of stuff in bright colors, for the little guys.
I can see why a little kid would. So were these not a hit? Because it seems like
they only made these 3. I did a little research and found out that the testing on it afterwards, people talking about it said that their little ones had a hard time transforming it, so it really wasn't very easy for
kids.
Kids
Are so stupid.
I guess so. Oh, and I forgot one. I said there were 4 opportunities, right? We said these.
Yeah.
There was the 1, 2, 3 Transformers. There was the Go bots. We'll talk about those sometime. And then there was Rescue Bots. That's actually 5.
Wow.
They need to learn to count. So they tried 5 times to make.
Rescue Bots seemed to pretty much hit it, though.
Rescue Bots had a cartoon that lasted several years.
I know you got a bunch of those.
We got several
over here
Rescue
in
Bots
a different
around here.
area of the basement.
So there are Transformers made for your little guys, and these were the first that came out way back in 1986.
Yeah. Or gals.
Well, guys in the sense of humans.
Human beings.
Yeah.
These
Trying
are
not to be.
Humans.
I know, I guess technically it is a sexist term, but so I apologize to all my.
I'm only saying that because you got girls who love these because of you. You raised them to be Transformer nuts.
So these were the first. These are the first attempt at getting out the toys for the little bitty guys, and I think they're kind of interesting. They're kind of cool, and we'll probably just highlight some of the other ones as we get a little farther along too.
Yeah,
but I just wanted.
I think those are cool.
I just thought these were cool because again, if you talk to people who know anything about Transformers, they probably don't remember these because they only lasted for like a year or 2.
Yeah,
and they were in they were in the preschool aisle, which if you're into toys at all, you probably were too young to remember them.
Yeah,
or you're too old to go in the preschool aisle. So you
So are these hard to find nowadays? That's
a great question. I've not tried pricing them on eBay recently to see if they're still available or if they're at a decent price. If there's a huge uptick for a secondhand market for them, but yeah, there they are. So they did give them a whirl in Japan, like we said too. So I don't think they sold very long in Japan either. But no cartoon to support this, no comic book to support this. Just these 3 figures. Again, no name in America, but little cutesy names in Japan. And
I'm pretty sure that you dreamed those names.
Or
it's like when I told you there was a cartoon called Goldie Gold, and you refused to believe me.
And she was right.
One of my friends finally was able to produce some evidence in a video guide.
An 80s cartoon that I never saw in my life.
Goldie Gold and Action Jack.
This lady talked to me about it. So my first Transformers, Blast in the Past. Yeah. Little guys Transformers. So now it's time that you did this. Good job.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Let's talk about our alcohol for the week.
Okay, so since this week is a little unconventional, I thought we'd do something a little conventional for me, which is talk about a local cidery. Oh. I guess that's the right name, right?
Sure.
So just full disclosure, I'm not a big fan of anything that's not beer, right? So cider's not generally a thing that I enjoy.
Well, you like spirits.
I'm talking about in the fermented, what's the word I'm looking for? Drinks with bubbles.
Stuff that comes in a can.
Drinks with bubbles in them. So you have your ciders that are really popular
meads.
Now. Yeah, meads are a little sweet for me.
You're not really a big fan of wine either, for the most part.
I like wine, but I would not call myself a wine connoisseur.
You're not considered a wino.
And the things, the seltzers and things that are around now, not a fan of.
Not a big fan of the seltzers either.
But I will say this: we're going to talk about St. Louis's only cider company tonight. It's called Brick River Cider Company. So let me grab the Brick River we're going to try. Okay. Here we go.
Down the street from Schlafly just a little bit. We talked about Schlafly in our last episode.
So let me tell you a little bit about Brick River, okay? Because full disclosure, I love these ciders, okay? For somebody who's not a cider fan, these are phenomenal, all right? So they call themselves St. Louis's first dedicated cider works. Go right ahead, Dave. And on their website, they make it very clear that all of their ciders are made from fresh pressed Midwestern fruit. None of it is from concentrate. And everything that they produce is gluten-free. River was founded by a gentleman named Russ John. His family has been growing apples in this region since the 1860s. And today, Brick River works with regional fruit growers to craft what they call their mini styles of cider. Okay, so they have sweet ciders, they have tart ciders, they have spicy ciders, they have their flagship ciders, they have seasonal ciders, and then they have specialty ciders that are limited editions. So there's going to be a multitude of kinds of ciders that you can try. And you can enjoy these ciders or take home cans from at two locations. There's two locations. There's
okay.
I know I didn't know this either until I looked it up. But there's the original in St. Louis, which is in downtown St. Louis, and there's also one in Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
Now the location in St. Louis is really cool because they built it in an old firehouse. Okay, it was actually Engine House 32 that was built in 1892.
Wow. On Washington Avenue.
Yeah, and it's really a neat space. And throughout the space, they have pictures on the wall from the firefighters who worked there. And when you look up on the ceiling, you can see they've boarded up the holes where, fire poles where the firemen came down. And the other thing I will say about Brick River in St. Louis, and I believe probably it's the same in Kansas City, but I can't confirm this, they have really good food. Everything's made from scratch. And the thing that I would recommend is do their brunch on Sunday mornings. The food is interesting. We've enjoyed it every time we've gone there. And the one thing I will say is we've tried a lot of their different ciders. There was one they have called Sweet Lou's that I really like. It's one of their flagships. And I don't really know how to describe it. It's just... Yeah, it was really good. It was kind of tart and sweet. I know you kind of like the one that was a peach. Mm-hmm. It was made from peaches.
Had a blueberry one there before too.
Yes.
You like the ones that are really dry, obviously, so they're not really super sweet flavored.
Yeah.
And I
like the drier. You like the sweeter. Yeah. And I just want to mention one other thing too. For sure, you can get Brick River cider. In Missouri and Illinois, there's some places that sell in cans, like you can get it for our tucks. I've seen it at tap houses in Missouri and Illinois. I'm not sure how much farther beyond the Midwest it extends, but you can find it in places that aren't just in those spaces. But I recommend taking a trip over to Brick River in St. Louis if you live around here, because you can do it on a Sunday morning, maybe when you can try their brunch. Because that's where you can get there's lots of different ciders on tap.
Well, it's just it's a short walk from Schlafly, which we talked about last week. It's literally like down the block and over a block. It's down the street. It wouldn't be an easy walk, but it'd be an easy drive to go to the City Museum of St. Louis.
Absolutely.
And then to Brick River, or vice versa. Brick River, the City Museum.
See, we're planning your whole day for you.
So there's all kinds of stuff to do right in this area.
Yeah. So again, it's just so cool to be in this area and have a craft distiller. I mean, this is the only, like I said, I'm going to call it cidery that we have around, but it's right here in our backyard. So we're going to try one that we brought home with us from the last time we were there, and it is one of their limited editions. They just brought it back. It's called the Firehouse Rosé, okay? And here's how they describe it. Dry, tart, and earthy with apple, Montmorency, sour cherries, and hibiscus. Are you ready?
I am.
It's very bubbly. It's very clear. It's not it's clearer than the apple juice, in my opinion.
You usually don't get ahead with ciders when you pour them, but
smells wonderful. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so unconventional beverage for our unconventional toys.
That's really good. That's
like a sparkling wine.
It's sweet in the front, dry on the end. So it's a little bit of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but not super dry.
Yeah, and it's called a rosé, but as you can maybe see from the colors here, it's not really reddish at all. But I think it's done in the style of a rosé wine. So
that's what I'm saying. It's like a sparkling wine. Yeah, this is what it tastes like.
So if you had a rosé wine and this side by side, they would taste similarly. Even though this is apple.
This is perfect for a picnic on a nice warm afternoon. Yeah. Nice warm summer afternoon.
So here's to my first Transformers.
Sure.
We got Zoom, Vroom, Zoom, and here's to Brick River.
Which there should have been in Sippy Cup.
There should have been Sippy Cup.
Cheers.
And once again, like we always say, if you like to know more about anything, please send us questions below.
Right, or if there's any beer or spirit cider you'd like us to try, please put it in the comments below.
Hit all those buttons, and remember to play responsibly and drink responsibly. And thanks for watching again. Come back and see us as soon as you can for our next episode of
BeerFormers. Bye.